Magandang araw! Kumusta po kayo? How have you been, everybody? I hope you're all staying safe and still continuously studying. Let's learn Filipino today, and let's have this topic, degree of adjectives. Adjectives are called pang-uri in Filipino. And this word uri is the word for kind or type. So when we say pang-uri, it's like a word that we use to classify things, giving them kinds or different types. Because as we all know, adjectives describe a verb, a noun, or even a pronoun. And when we describe things, we tend to know the similarities and differences of that thing. That's why we can create kinds or types. And that's what pang-uri is all about. So I'll introduce to you some adjectives here so that we're going to use these words in our examples later. Let's have the first one. We have here the root word ganda. 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 And if we put it in an adjective, we add the prefix ma. Ma, making it maganda. Maganda. And the meaning of that in English is beautiful, from the root word beauty or ganda. Next one is laki. Laki. If we add ma at the beginning, we have a new word which is an adjective called malaki. Malaki. And it means big. From the root word laki, which means size. Next is the word talino. 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 And if we add ma, the prefix ma, we can have the word matalino. Matalino. And it means intelligent. From the root word talino, which means intelligence. Okay, again, ganda, maganda. Laki, malaki. Talino, matalino. The same with English. We have two types of degree of an adjectives. We have comparative and superlative degree. So here in comparative, we have two types, the equal and unequal comparative. So I'll give you a formula for you to easily familiarize how we use or how we change these adjectives into comparative and superlative. For the unequal comparative degree of an adjective, we use this mas plus adjective formula. So just familiarize this one. The word mas plus the adjective. And for the equal comparative degree, we use magkasing plus the root word of the adjective. Magkasing, or it could be kasing plus the root word. And lastly, we have sing plus the root word of the adjective. So that's for the unequal and equal comparative degree. For the superlative one, we can use this two formula. We use the prefix pinaka or napaka. Pinaka plus adjective. And if we use napaka, instead of only the adjective, we are going to use the root word itself. So let's have an example to figure this out. Let's talk first about this comparative. As what I've mentioned, there are two types, the equal and unequal comparative degree of an adjective. So let's go back to the formula to give us a guide on what we should do about these adjectives. So for equal, the formula is magkasing or kasing, or it could be sing plus the root word of the adjective. For the unequal, we use mas plus the adjective. So let's have an example. The word here is maganda. And maganda means, can you still remember? Maganda is beautiful. That's right. So let's have the unequal comparison. We use the word mas plus the adjective itself, mas maganda. We pronounce it like mas maganda, mas maganda. Here, the word mas means more. More. It's like more beautiful. It's like unequal because the beauty is more than that something being compared. So mas maganda means more beautiful. On the other side, we have here the equal. When we say equal, they're just the same. So instead of mas, we use magkasing. Or it could be kasing or just sing. And take note, we do not use the adjective, but instead we use the root word. Okay? The root word ganda, which means beauty, right? Beauty. And if we add the prefix ma, it means beautiful. But if it's only ganda, it's just beauty. So by adding the prefix magkasing at the beginning, we have a new word, magkasing ganda. Or it means they're just the same, like the beauty of that person is the same as that the other person being compared. Magkasing, or their beauty is just like equal. It has the same meaning with the word kasing ganda and with sing ganda. So another example we have here, malaki. Can you still remember the meaning of malaki? Yes, it's big. And the root word itself means size. Size. But if it's malaki, it means big. Okay, let's try the unequal comparison. Just by adding mas, we can create a new meaning. Mas malaki, it means it's bigger, or it's bigger than that thing. Next, for the equal comparison, we have here magkasing laki, kasing laki, and sing laki. It means the size of that thing are just the same. Next example is the adjective matalino. Matalino. And it means intelligent. Intelligent. And the root word itself, talino, means intelligence. Okay? So let's try it with the unequal comparison. We use mas plus the adjective matalino. Mas matalino means, yes, that's correct, more intelligent. And for the equal comparison, we just add magkasing, kasing, or sing at the root word of the adjective, and that's talino. The next one is the superlative degree of an adjective. Here we can use two formula. We have pinaka plus the adjective and napaka plus the root word of the adjective. Let's take a look at this example here. The first adjective is maganda. And if we are going to use the first formula, pinaka plus the adjective, we can have here the new word pinakamaganda. Pinakamaganda. And it means the most. Pinaka is the prefix of these example here, and the equivalent of that in English is the most or most. So when we say pinakamaganda, it means most or the most beautiful. If we are going to apply the second formula, we can have a word napakaganda. Napakaganda. And it means so beautiful or too beautiful. Napakaganda means so beautiful. So, using the prefix napaka, it's used to describe someone or something excessively. And that's why the equivalent of that in English is the word so. Okay, did you get that? So let's have another example. The next adjective is malaki. Malaki. And by adding pinaka, we have now pinakamalaki. And the meaning of that is the most big, or it's the biggest. Biggest. So, again, pinaka is the most. Its equivalent in English is the most, or pinakamalaki means the biggest. And if you're going to apply the next formula, napaka plus the root word, we have here napakalaki. Napakalaki. And it means it's so big or too big. The next one is matalino. Matalino. Or if we are going to apply the first formula, pinaka plus the adjective itself, we have here a new word, pinakamatalino. Pinakamatalino. And it means the most intelligent person, like pinakamatalino. It describes someone who's the most intelligent among the group. And lastly, we have here napaka plus the root word. So we have napakatalino. Napakatalino. And it means so intelligent, or it's too intelligent. So here I'll teach you another thing. By just using these words, we can actually create simple sentences out from this one. Let's try the word maganda. Okay. If you want to create a sentence out from this one, let's try adding the pronoun siya or siya. When we say maganda siya, maganda siya, what do you think is the meaning of that? Okay, maganda siya means she's beautiful. If you can still remember, siya is the pronoun for she or he in Filipino, right? But in this example, let's assume that we are talking about a girl. So that's why we are going to use she. So we have here a sentence, she's beautiful. Maganda siya. Okay? The next word is pinakamaganda. Pinakamaganda. And by adding the word siya, we have here another sentence. And it means she's the most beautiful. So you see we have now two sentences here. She's the most beautiful. And for the last one, we have napakaganda. And this one is the exception. We cannot use the pronoun siya in here. Instead, we use niya. Niya. Niya, or it could be pronounced as like this. Niya. So, our sentence is napakaganda niya. And it means she's so beautiful. She's so beautiful. If you're asking why we can't use siya since it's also a pronoun, here is the reason for that. When we use siya, siya is for the subject pronoun. So here in our example, maganda siya. We are talking about she, who is the subject in our sentence. She's beautiful. She is the one who is our subject in here. We are talking about her. And siya functions as our subject. On the other hand, niya is for possession. Niya. Or it could be a possessive pronoun. In our example here, she's so beautiful. She serves as a pronoun that we use to tell that she is the one who owns this extraordinary beauty. She is so beautiful. And that's why we use here niya. So can you see the difference of the two sentences? She's beautiful. She is for subject. And that's the word for siya or siya. She's so beautiful. She here is the one who possesses that beauty. And that's why we have here the word niya. So don't get confused. It's like siya is for subjective. And for niya is for possessive or the possession. So that's how you use this word in a simple sentence. And yeah, you can actually create sentences here using this pronoun siya or niya. Yeah, let's apply this in our next pronoun. Malaki siya. Pinakamalaki siya. Or napakalaki niya. Next is matalino siya. Pinakamatalino siya. Napakatalino niya. So I hope it's clear to you in this part that superlative is for describing things excessively, or it could be that this thing is the most superior among the group. So that's why we have here pinaka plus napaka formula. So here are the things that you have to remember. For comparative, we have two types, the equal and unequal. When we compare things equally, we use magkasing, kasing, sing, plus the root word of the adjective. An example of that is magkasing ganda. It's like their beauty are just the same. When we use unequal, our formula is mas plus the adjective. Mas plus the adjective. So, an example of that is the word or the phrase mas maganda or more beautiful. The next one is the superlative, degree of an adjective. When we use pinaka, it means the most. For example, the most beautiful, pinaka maganda. On the other hand, if we use napaka, it is used for describing excessively, and it could mean so or too. An example of that is napaka ganda, and it means so beautiful. And lastly, for the pronoun, niya is for the possessive and siya is for the subjective one. When we say maganda siya, it means siya is the subject that we are talking about. And an example of niya is napakaganda niya. So, yeah, this superlative are connected with this niya and siya. For napaka, commonly we use niya as our subject. And for pinaka or mas, or actually just the adjective itself, we use siya. So, yeah, I hope that you've got something in this lesson. We have here again two types of a degree of an adjective. We have comparative and superlative. Thank you for listening and watching this video. Maraming salamat po. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe, like, and share it with your friends. Let's learn Filipino today. And I hope you're having a good time. And bye-bye. See you then.